Hi, Sandra Wilson here, clinical hypnotherapist. I thought I would come on today to talk a little bit about an emotion that seems to, I don't know, it doesn't really get as much airplay as some of the bigger ones, especially anxiety, fear, anger, and that is boredom. Now, when we think about boredom, we tend to think about, youngsters, kids, hanging around on street corners because they got nothing else better to do, or sitting around playing games endlessly. But boredom actually is quite a significant and very painful emotion that can really steal from us. And it's a little bit more than just feeling like you've got nothing else better to do, so you may as well just, I don't know, hang around on a street corner or play video games. So really, if you tend to notice boredom more often, especially if you notice it more regularly with what you're doing day to day, maybe it's boredom with your work, with interests that no longer excite you or satisfy you, or even with friends, certain friendships. If a lot of things are making you feel bored, it's time to start questioning what that is really all about, because boredom can sometimes be an indicator of low motivation. Maybe you've become disconnected with why you started doing something in the first place, why you wanted that job, why you hang out with a certain person, why you're still in a relationship if it's not exciting you anymore. And of course, with people with ADHD, and this is quite a well-known, well-researched fact, that dopamine in people with ADHD, it's quite a complex thing, but if we're not getting a sufficient supply of dopamine, we're going to keep flitting to the next shiny new object. And sometimes the unfortunate thing is, with multiple interests firing up the dopamine, you might notice that you spread your attention across a lot of different interests and then very, very quickly go off the boil. I'm talking a little bit more about a deeper level of boredom. Now, there is a word, it's called anhedonia. And anhedonia is simply, it can be defined as losing interest in pleasure, no longer feeling happy or excited about your life. And it's a fairly close cousin to depression, but not quite as severe. Now, if you've noticed a feeling of daily frustration, making it very hard to stay focused or feel motivated, it's time to start thinking about what it is about your life that's causing this. Is it because you get tempted by shiny new objects, or is it because you aren't present enough in your life with what's already there? Maybe you're surrounded by people who are always, appearing to do exciting things. You jump onto social media and everybody's on holiday or hanging out with these exciting people, going out buying lots of fancy things, and you just feel a little bit like you're missing out. So boredom can feel very miserable. You can feel restless, agitated, with low mood. And once you start getting into that rut, it can be quite difficult to get yourself out of again. So we get stuck in the boredom rut where you've just lost all motivation, and it would just take a lot to get you out of that. So I hope that this video's helped. Boredom can be a funny one, and the main tips I would give is to look at your life. What needs to be tweaked? And can you find a way of being more present if you can't change that thing? And of course, any type of boredom that feels very intense should always be evaluated by a medical professional, just in case it's a sign of something like depression. But going back to what I said about anhedonia, anhedonia is a form of hedonism. Really, this can be quite easily addressed by looking at what you could start to do that would just make you feel happier again. And I personally find that journaling can be really helpful. So get on it, find what makes you tick, find your purpose, connect with your why, and hopefully you will start to feel a bit less bored. I hope that's helped. Bye for now.